Hey guys, so in this video we are going to create the remaining targets and the target spawner. So we are going to create a few more prefabs and instantiate those prefabs, change the variables on the prefabs to create all the spawners and the targets that we have in the game. So let's start. First thing that we are going to do is to create the remaining targets. I'm just going to hide this. And the first thing that you need to do is to import all the remaining sprites for the other targets. So basically import new asset and select all these, the duck images. So duck back break, and duck front and duck front break images. Import them here. And now to create the other targets, we are going to reuse this prefab from the original one that we created before. So we can reuse this one. And now let's call it duck front. And the first thing that we are going to do is to change the default sprite to use the duck front sprite. And now you see that the collider is not actually fitting the image, so we need to edit the collider, and you can press this edit collider button here on the box collider to the component to actually edit the collider bounds of our sprite. And we need to change this on the original target as well, because we don't want the box collider to enclose this area right here, because otherwise if I press in this empty space here, I will still be able to shoot the target, and we don't want that. So this is more closely related to the shape of our image, and to be really precise we need to create a different collider to actually follow the shape of our targets, so that we can just shoot on the actual shape and not on these empty spaces around the image. But this is good enough for what we want right now. And let me just change this in the original target. And this is also a cool feature of the prefabs that I didn't talk about in the last video, is that you can, you can edit the prefab without dragging it into the scene. So for example, if I want to edit the collider of this target, I can do it. I cannot do it here because I can see it here, you know, but it's really strange because this is not the actual instance. I already changed the sprite and I cannot see what I'm doing. So when you want to edit the prefab without actually having an instance of the prefab on the scene, you can just open the prefab. So you select here and you have this open, and you enter the prefab mode, where you can just edit the prefab and apply the changes and then go back to the actual scene. So you can see that this is not in the scene, so this exists in isolation mode. Okay, this is just a prefab. You can make all the changes and then go back to the original scene that you are working on. And here the only thing that I want to do is to change the collider so that it just encloses the actual image and not this pole right here. And just save it and go back, and now my target, the collider of my target, if I push it here, should be okay. So you can see that it's already updated. And in the duck front, it's still like we had before. So we change this box collider, the audio source is the same, and we need to change the values of our variables. And let me check what values I used before, because I don't remember. So for the duck front, we are going to use a speed of 250, which these ones are the slower ones, so they are the ones that are in the front. We need to change the ordering layer as well. They are the ones that are here in the front, so they are the slower ones, and also the ones that are worth less. So basically they are worth like 10 only. And so this is it. And now we need to position this in the front layer. Let me just check the correct layer that we are going to use for these ducks. So ducks fronts are on layer 5. So on the sprite render, we are going to change to layer 5. And now we need to, we don't need to position it correctly, because what we need to position correctly is the target spawner actually. What we need to do now, okay, we have our target, so I'm just going to position it. And this is a good practice also when you are creating prefabs. If you are going to instantiate this and actually position this at runtime, you should have your prefab at the origin. At least I like to have that. You can see that this target is not at the origin, so I'm just going to reset the position to the origin as well. Because when you instantiate the prefab, the instance, the copy, is going to be positioned to in the position that we have here, unless you specify other position. So I usually like to have it on the origin and then just set the position after I instantiate it. and our duck front is okay. And now we need to create a prefab for this duck front. We can just drag this into the prefabs. This goes into another concept of prefabs, which is variants. And basically a variant is, as you can see, as a prefab of a prefab. So basically you can create a variant of an original prefab. So for example, we have the target prefab, which is the original one, and then I can create a variant of that one, which is basically a new prefab with all the changes that I made applied to the original one. And then you create like a hierarchy of prefabs that you can just make changes to only the variants or only the original ones. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about this, but basically what we want here is to create a variant actually, because this is a variant of the target. And you can see that the icon here is a little bit different. And I'm thinking about making just a video about going into this the prefabs, you know, going about what is a prefab, what is a variant, what is an original one, how do you nest prefabs, how you work with all this. So if I actually end up doing it, I'll just post a link somewhere here in the screen, and you can just follow if you want to know more about these variants. So we have this duck front, and now we can delete it because we already have it here. And now let's just push this target again. Let's call it duck back and do the same. So change this duck back. Oh, we need to actually do something else that I forgot on the other duck. We'll go back in just a minute. Wait, let me just adjust the collider of this duck back. And the collider is okay. Let me check that back is okay. Okay, now we are going to change the speed. Okay, so the speed of this one is -400 because this duck is moving from right to the left. And we also need to flip our sprite on the X value. So the duck is moving that way. And the score is 30, so this worth a little bit more. We need to change the ordering layer as well. So the duck back is on layer 3. So it's between the grass and the first body of water. And we also need to change here the target break because I forgot to change on the other one. I'm going to do that afterwards, but here let's just change the target. It's not the target break, but it's the duck back break. No, so this is a sprite. When we press the sprite and we break the target, this is a sprite that we are going to use to update the aspect of our target. And let's create a new prefab variant. And now let me just change this duck front. We need to change the sprite as well because we forgot to do that. And it's okay. So now we have our prefabs. And let's just quickly create the target spawners and position the spawners in the correct places. I'm just going to add an underscore here. So this is the target spawner. And we are going to do the same. So first we are going to create a prefab because we are going to duplicate this and just change the variables that we have right here. And this is always a good practice. When you are reusing objects and duplicating objects, it's a good practice to create prefabs to do that. So this is the best way to do it. So we duplicate this prefab. So this is a target spawner, and now we can just change it. So this is a target spawner. This is going to be the duck front spawner. And the duck front spawner, we need to just change all the stuff here. So duck front spawner is going to be instantiating duck fronts. We still gonna use no, I think this one we are just using 1 and 1 because it's instantiating every second. So we want to have like a constant flow of ducks in the front. The max offset, let's try with 60 as well, but let's position it now in the correct place. So our duck front spawner is going to, I don't know, the minimum probably is going to be like here, and the maximum is going to be this plus 60, which is okay. And we are going to position it so the duck is going to start here. Oh, and I deleted the other one. Okay, now I can just bring it back. We shouldn't delete target spawner. I mean, we still need it, so I don't know why I deleted it. And now we have the duck front spawner. And let's just duplicate this one, and this is the duck back spawner. And we need to position the duck back spawner, but first let's just assign the duck back. 1 to 3 seconds, offset is the same, and let's position the duck back. So duck back should be, probably this is the minimum that's going to have, and we're going to create something like this. And let me just remove these ones. Okay, so we have our spawners. Now what we need is to add references to all the spawners in our game manager, because in the last video we added only for the target spawner, which is now applied to the duck front. I don't remember. Because I changed the name. Okay, so this is for the target spawner. We need to create for the other ones. So let's create the duck front spawner, which is also a game object, and the duck back spawner, which is also a game object. And let's just assign, so this is the duck front and this is the duck back. And now what we need to do is to just edit this graph, because we were enabling the target spawner, but we want to enable all the other ones. So let's just add a new node, custom event, trigger custom event, and basically we are going to enable one and the other and the other. So we are going to do this, and I'm going to just copy this, enable, and enable as well, and we are going to enable all the spawners that we have. So we are going to enable this one and this one and this one. So this and this. So basically when the game starts, we enable the target spawner, the duck front, and the duck back, and this happens all in the same frame, so it's okay. And now let's just check if it's working. Okay, nothing is working. I press the label ready, and we have our target, and we can destroy. Now I don't like here, you can see that the ducks probably need to move the target spawners more to the left, because the ducks are just popping into the screen. The other two are okay, I think, but the ones in the front we need to change, and also the speed or the rate as the duck back appears. So this one is okay. This one probably needs to go a little bit to the left. You see, that's why it's popping, so it's instantiating here. So probably we want to instantiate the duck somewhere around here. And the duck back, let me just check. It's okay. Yeah, I'm just going to remove it, move it also here. And the target spawner, let me just check. Oh, not this one, the target. This one is okay. You can see that it appears invisible, basically it's already hidden behind the curtains. It's okay. And now what I also want to change, this is 1 to 3, let's put it 1 to 2. This is always 1, and the other one is 1 to 3. Let's just check how it goes now. Okay, so we have a constant flow of ducks in the front, all at 1 second. And they're just changing the height. Then we have these ducks, a few more ducks in the back, and we have the target on the back that just goes by. And this is it. Okay, so this is what we want. And in the next video, we are actually going to implement the canvas. So I thought that I was going to implement the canvas on this one, but I'm going to leave it for the next one. So I hope I see you on the next video. Thanks.